And the last statement of the day today is by Transnational Institute, TNI, by Denia Putri, and it is online. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair, for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Transnational Institute today. Ladies and gentlemen, today the CND voted to adopt recommendation 5.1 of the WHO. Though long overdue, this will give hope to millions of people whose suffering is eased by cannabis. With the removal of cannabis from Schedule 4 of the 1961 Single Convention, the medicinal usefulness of cannabis can no longer be denied. This strengthens the international legal basis for medicinal cannabis programs, which can now be found in more than 50 countries. We welcome this historic step taken today. Nevertheless, the journey is far from over. It is important, albeit painful, to note that the original inclusion of cannabis in the UN drug control system was rooted in racism and colonialism, and not in science. This has fueled human rights violations that disproportionately affect communities of color and has impeded scientific research on cannabis-based medicines. The WHO's scientific assessment also clearly shows that cannabis does not pose the same level of health risks of most drugs placed under Schedule 1 of the 1961 Convention, but this was not reflected in the WHO's recommendations. It appears that the role of the WHO within the scheduling procedure is compromised by other considerations beyond the medical scientific arguments. The review process also highlighted the shortcomings and inconsistencies of the treaty system itself, which left the WHO with very limited and unsatisfactory options. This is worrying, as it serves as a bad precedent for future scheduling decisions. Yet each year, more and more citizens and policymakers around the world are waking up from the decades-long illusion that cannabis prohibition ought to prevail. And let's not forget that cannabis serves as a source of livelihoods for millions of poor workers worldwide, especially those in formerly colonized countries, where cannabis cultivation was once legally promoted by colonial powers as a way to extract wealth from colonized peoples. We welcome today's adoption of Recommendation 5.1, but this is not the end. Much remains to be done in order to ensure that the scheduling system evolves based on scientific evidence, not on political interests. We need a follow-up process to address the gaps in the WHO's recommendations for the sake of improving the treaty system as a whole. Thank you very much.
I thank Ms. Denia Putri of Transnational Institute, TNI, for making her statement.